Hello guys, good afternoon. You welcome back to my channel. My name is Olivia. If you're just seeing me for the first time, thank you, welcome. I'm a Nigerian migrant who lives here in South Africa with my family, and I make various content. Okay guys, so please, if you're not yet subscribed to this channel, this would be the best time for you to just hit on that subscribe button. It's a click away from you, and when you hit on the subscribe button, just hit on the bell sign. That's where you'll be notified of my subsequent videos. Okay, yes guys, to all my returning subscribers, I love you, I appreciate you, thank you so very much. Yeah guys, so without further ado, let's just jump right into the video. So guys, in today's video is kind of a different video, not really different like that, but I'm trying to react to a video. There's this video I came across because I like watching also South African videos, different kind of videos. So I came across this channel. It's called the Conversation Capital. I'll put their link in the description box. I hope I remember. And I'm reacting to the video that says living in South Africa while being of Ghana descent, okay, by Asbo Afro Amanfo. Like, so my topic is going to be living in South Africa while being of Nigerian descent. Yes. I'm a Nigerian, so I'm a Nigerian. I live in South Africa, and I have given birth to kids here in South Africa who are also living in South Africa. They are of Nigerian descent, but all their experiences up until now has totally been of South African experience. Okay, so I have 3 kids, 11 years old, 9, and a baby 1 year plus. So I just watched that video, and yeah, I had a lot of things to resonate with. I have a lot of things to say about that video, so that's why I'm reacting to that video today, because I just saw that girl, the girl that was narrating. There were 3 people actually. 2 were in front of the camera, 1 was behind the camera. So I just saw the girl, the Ghanaian girl, the Amanfo girl, as I was just seeing my kids in her. You know, she was born here in South Africa by Ghana parents. Okay, her parents migrated, just like I and my husband migrated in here in South Africa, and I've given birth to my kids here in South Africa. And I'm just reasoning, okay, if they grow in South Africa, which I don't think they will, yes, but however, if they grow up in South Africa, they might have similar experiences or what have you. So I just want to talk about my take on it, my own experiences, and what I think should be done to avert some of the things. So she was just talking about generally how South Africans perceive foreigners, and that was what that video is all about. You can watch it after watching this video, how South Africans perceive foreigners. Then she now talked about her personal experience as a foreigner. To her, she is South Africa, but she's not fully seen as South Africa to South Africans. I don't know if that makes sense. Her parents are Ghanaians, but she was born in South Africa and she was raised in South Africa. She's like 30 plus at this point, but all her experiences have only been here in South Africa. She only visits Ghana once in a while and all that. So I just want to talk about, you know, what I think. So the first thing that we are like, they didn't really talk about xenophobia, but somehow it came up. Okay, how profiling sometimes is an issue, but thankfully I've not had such an experience personally that I will say. Maybe I'll just say that maybe one reason why I do not feel profiled when people, you know, when a situation arises or when someone wants to ask me questions that are kind of uncomfortable, or when somebody deals with me somehow here in South Africa. The main reason I don't think like that as a Nigerian living in South Africa is point number 1. I'm very self-aware. I know that I am not living in my country. Okay, I do not live in my country. As much as I do not live in my country, I know that if you do not live in your country, there are some things to just generally expect from people. Okay, don't be too relaxed, don't be too comfortable, don't be too sensitive, kind of. Let me just use that word. Don't be too sensitive, in the sense that always have it at the back of your mind that people act differently, people talk differently, people respond to different things differently. Okay, let me just use that as an instance. Like Nigeria now, if I am from the eastern part of Nigeria, the Igbo part, if I go to Lagos, the western part of Nigeria, I might be profiled. They might call me Igbo person. You know, that's how it is. So you can call that tribalism. Such kind of things from one point or another exists in this world. Is a normal thing? Is it the best thing? No, but it happens. It's normal. Okay, so that's personally my thinking. Yeah, sometimes somebody might do something to me or say something to me in a way that is not fair. I don't think towards it so much. Like living in South Africa, I don't think towards, oh my god, oh, this person was just being xenophobic. Oh, I know that even if I was, even in my Igbo land, if I go to another state oh, are you from Imo State? Oh, Anambra people might also be like, oh, she's from Imo. Oh, Imo. You know, that kind of thing. So it's not a big deal to me. It's kind of classical conditioning. That's the way I condition my mind. I also know that somewhere like America, if you go there, the black also discriminates against the white are against the black. If you go to Australia, if you go to UK, you will see racism as well. Racism is there. So all those things, when you think, okay, it's not this is probably an experience that I may be thinking I have, but if I go to somewhere else, even my own country, I will still face one challenge or the other. It's not all rosy everywhere. So that's how I deal with these things. So living in South Africa as a Nigerian, this is how I deal with people not being too friendly. I usually don't come across such people most times. At least I will tell you for free. So, but however, if peradventure I come across such situation or such people, this is how I just wind my mind. I'm like, it's nothing, whatever. Okay, so long as it doesn't endanger my life, that's it. But I just want to also point out that I've not experienced it. But if somebody talks in a way that wants to suggest such a thing, this is how I deal with it. Okay, because I know that even if I'm in my country, Nigeria, I may deal with a similar situation, maybe in another form or manner. Or even if I go to America tomorrow, which I want to go to America, I want to visit the whole, everywhere in the world. I want to visit America, Canada, US. In fact, I just need money. That's what I need. I need money to visit. I know that when I visit, people be like, oh, okay, where are you from? If you have an accent, they'll say, oh, you have an accent. My friend in Australia say, oh, okay, how they always say, oh, you have an accent. Where is that accent from? You know, that kind of thing. So will you say that person is being racist? Well, if they are, that's their business. So that's how I deal with it. Living in South Africa, being Nigerian, another way that I deal with whatever situation I find myself is I try to put myself in the shoes of the people, honestly. If you don't put yourself in people's shoes, generally in life, you might not understand where they're coming from. I kid you not. So I try to understand. I'm like, okay, fine. Why will a South African feel somehow towards a foreigner? Sometimes my justification or their justification might not be right, but if you look critical, if you look very well, there may be real rational justification towards their actions. Okay, it might be, okay, foreigners coming to our country undocumented, a lot of undocumented foreigners coming. It might be their grievance. Is their grievance right? Yes. Could they play it out in a way that is not so good? Maybe, but yeah. So I try to understand the grievance of the people and so on and so forth. Maybe their facilities being too full, hospitals or using taxpayers' money and all so on and so forth. All those kind of situations whereby you say, okay, people that take from the government and not give back, like not working and not being a taxpayer and not being properly documented. Anything you can think of, you just kind of rationalize the situation of the people. You might also think, okay, sometimes like me now, being a Nigerian in South Africa, I already know that Nigerians have a reputation. Is their reputation the negative part exactly? Is it actually the way it is for all Nigerians? No, of course not. But for the fact that you know that, okay, from where I come from, we have a reputation. People think a certain way. I try to prove myself. I try to make sure I stand on the right path always. I try to do the right thing. I try to live right. I try to mind my business. I try to not step on people's toes as much as I can. I try to do things right. I try to be documented. I try to make sure my kids are documented. When you know that, okay, you're living in a glass house, try not to throw stones, right? Okay, so that's just it. If I know that, okay, Nigerians, or people think so and so again about Nigeria. Okay, let me just give you an instance. I was in a shop to buy my kids' uniform. The shop attendant was like, okay, if you pay cash, you're going to pay less money, and if you swipe, you just go. And the money was a lot, let me tell you. Like, my kids' uniform are not cheap. I was buying like a uniform worth like 5,000 rands this back to school. And you see people giving cash. So apparently I know that if you give that cash, she's not going to record how many uniforms you bought. Maybe if you bought 5 uniforms, she's just going to record it as you bought 3. Then she'll keep the rest cash. Then you will have a little bit discount. I'm like, I told my husband, no, we are not going to do this. You know why? I know that from where we come from, they always think we are fraudulent and we do some kind of things. I'm not going to even, I know that it's going to be to my benefit, but what if I was caught? Then it will not be, oh, these Nigerians, this is what they do I'm not going to even try to involve myself in anything negative. I push it aside. Even my husband, being a practicing medical doctor, I always tell him, anything that looks fraudulent, anything that looks negative, make sure you disassociate yourself with it. So that's how to try to exonerate yourself from such negative stereotype that your people, you would usually or notoriously have. So if you live in a glass house, don't throw stones. People have their reasons why they have stereotypes. Some people have had negative experiences with foreigners in South Africa. I can tell you for free. Some people is just hearsay. Okay, I hear that foreigners do this and do this and do this. That's why they treat foreigners in a certain way, or they just have a certain notion, or they don't just want to have anything to do with foreigners. So I also respect the fact that maybe you've had a negative experience, or you've know somebody that has had a negative experience, but I just try to make sure that I do not give you that negative experience. When you experience me personally and one-on-one, you have a positive experience, except you're just a negative person, which I know that people can just don't want to experience people personally. They just have a notion and they just put you. But this is some of the way to remedy such situations. Okay, this is how I actually treat this kind of situation. This is how I live in South Africa, being Nigerian. Yes, I know that when you're living in your country, it's not easy. It's not a bed of roses. It's not, neither should it be a bed of thorns rather. Okay, living in your country is not a bed of roses, and it shouldn't be in a bed of thorns. But I try to create a balance, know what is right to do it, and also be safe. Try and be safe. Okay, the Ghanaian lady was in that video was also talking about she being South Africa but not fully South Africa, and she being Ghanaian but not fully Ghanaian. I understand her perfectly, although I'm not in her situation. I was born in Nigeria, I was raised in Nigeria, I only came as an adult to South Africa. So yeah, she says she is a South African by birth and by naturalization, because of her parents, but she doesn't really feel like a South African because of the way maybe she's treated, and another reason, she doesn't speak South African language, and she also is Ghanaian by birth, by the virtue of her parents, but she also doesn't feel Ghanaian because she does not really understand Ghanaian culture, and she doesn't really speak Ghanaian language. So I understand it's very easy for kids, if you born them out of your country, for them to feel that way. How I'm combating this is making sure my kids understand my language. It's not easy, I can tell you for free, it's not an easy thing. I try to make them understand my language. I try to make them speak if possible. They don't want to speak, these kids, but I try to make them speak. But when it comes to understanding my language, I try to make them understand. And also living in South Africa, I try to also make them understand South African language. I try to encourage them to speak if possible. They learn Tswana, they learn Setswana, and they learn Afrikaans. I try to make sure that they understand, and if they want to speak, I'll encourage them to speak it if possible. Hopefully we don't, they live in South Africa perpetually, but while they are living in South Africa, the best thing for you as a migrant, or to combat this kind of situation, wherever you find yourself with your children, make sure they speak the language, they understand the language, they integrate with the people. It's not easy, let me tell you, because most times she was saying she grew up in Mafikeng, and it was like people were like, oh, they're not South Africans, so they really didn't speak the language to her, and she didn't understand. That could happen, but if you intentionally want to understand the language, I'm sure you will. There's a friend of mine that came to South Africa as a child. She speaks Tswana very well. I think she speaks Xhosa as well. You see how she integrates with the people very well. So if anybody that is a foreigner in a land, I'm sure how you can combat the fact that, oh, you don't feel a certain ways. You first of all understand your culture, understand your language. You might not feel as though, oh, I'm from Nigeria so much, but at least if you go to Nigeria, you'll be able to understand what people are saying there. Again, wherever you are, understand the language. That's what I'm doing for my children. That's very easy. That's how I feel she can combat it. But so she's trying to say that, okay, if she gets married, she wants her children to speak her Ghanaian language because she didn't speak. It's very easy for these kids not to speak. It's very, very easy, but you have to be intentional. So yeah, that is me reacting to that video of living in South Africa as in Nigeria, and you know what the whole thing is. It's very, I understood her, but I know that there are some ways to go about those whole situations. It's all is a thing of the mind. Work on your mindset. I'm also teaching my children that as much as you live in South Africa, you're not a South African. No. Don't go and think you're a South African, so you will not be in that situation tomorrow. Oh, I don't feel South African, but no, you're not fully South African. As much as you have, you even have a South African name and all that. I want them to integrate very well, but I also want them to have a place in their mind where they will not be heartbroken in case they feel kind of a certain way or someone treats them a certain way. So educate them. You're South African, or you live in South Africa, but you're not South African, you're Nigerian, and teach them the culture. Teach them both cultures. In fact, expose them to both worlds very well. That's what I'm doing for my children. I'm trying to expose them to the world of Nigeria. I was supposed to go to Nigeria this Christmas, but we had some situations, we didn't go again. So I will try to take my kids to Nigeria, let them experience, because it's very easy for kids that are born outside their country to not feel fully their country, and then again not feel fully the other country. It's very easy. So I understood her, but she says she's working on her whole mindset. The lady, the Ghanaian lady in that video, Amanfo, she's working on her whole mindset. I believe she has gotten it right now. And yeah, so okay, if I naturalize in South Africa, which I know I'm not going to, but am I going to feel fully South African? No, I won't. Will I feel fully Nigerian? Of course, yes, I will, because I have all my experiences in Niger. I love my country, and I also love South Africa. I pray that I don't have real bad experiences that will change all the things I'm saying here. Really, maybe it's a question of people's personal experiences. I will also not want to trash people's personal experiences. I might have experienced it in a smoother way and all that, but someone else might have experienced very negative, might have had very negative experiences just for the fact that they are foreigners. So anyway, yeah, but overall, South Africans are good people, Nigerians are good people, Nigerians are good people, South Africans are good people, okay? And there's no country that you will not feel a certain way so long as you don't come from that country. Even if you come from that country, you might go to another part of the country and you also feel a certain way. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, guys. I've talked too much in this video. I hope you understand it's just a rant and it's just a reaction and nothing serious, okay? I appreciate you. Please tell me what your thoughts are. Give this video a thumbs up, share, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye bye.